I hadn't anticipated doing one of these for a long time after my first one, but I received a comment today on one of my videos that just got to me. It was a comment on my video response to Diamond Styles' video. It's a comment on the My Princess Boy video response. And this beautiful woman says in her comment, my trans sister was dressing up since childhood too. But when my parents found out, she got punished. She was forced to dress like the rest of the boys. They cut her hair very short. When my trans sister became a teen, she left home with a broken heart, moved to Hollywood, and became a street worker. She was 19 years old when she was found dead in a dumpster. Things could have been so different if my sister had my parents' support. I know that. And I didn't know how to respond to that comment. And I hope the response I gave her did her some good or did what she did some justice, because it was a very brave thing to put out there to the world. And I know that. But I wasn't sure what to say to her. Do I tell her, I'm so sorry for your loss, and leave it at that? Do I tell her that this sort of thing happens all the time to trans women and men, and it's just part of the risk you take? Do I tell her about my mentor, whom I loved with unabashed supremacy, I guess the word is? My mentor, who had traveled to Greece and would show up to the bar and the club wearing a toga. My mentor, who used to rock braids down to her backside in every conceivable color you could think of. Black, brown, red, and blonde, all on one head, and made it work like no one I have ever known before or since. My mentor, who was a trans woman, who was stabbed over 20 times in the chest, so severely that when the police found her body in her apartment, her breast implant was on the outside of her body. Or do I tell her that when I was 16, my father disowned me because I made the decision to make my body match up with my mind and my heart? Because the woman you see before today, you see before you today, was not born biologically female. I was very hesitant to make a channel on YouTube because I wanted to be very clear to Nina that I couldn't come on here and be the voice of the trans community. I underwent surgery years ago, and I'm just not in the kind of headspace that will allow me to put all that our world goes through on my back I'm very active in the ballroom community, which is how inadvertently Nina and I met. Um, I do some activist work within the transgendered community. And I just wanted this particular area of my life to be devoted to my other passions, the needs of women and mothers, because I am a woman, I am a mother. Um, Not biologically, of course, but I have raised children and fulfilled the position of all that a mother is to the very best of my capacity and have some amazingly well-rounded children to show for it. I just couldn't be that person. And fortunately, there are people like Diamond Styles and people like T.S. Sexy Chanel and really solid, and Kate Bornstein, and I mean really, really solid people on YouTube that mean I don't have to be that person. So once again, in the same vein as the issues of my drug addiction, there was just never a time to bring it up. And I, to be perfectly honest, never felt compelled to share that information because I look at my life like this. I was born with a problem. That problem was corrected years ago. Therefore, there is no more problem. And I realize that for some of you, it might be an aha moment, like I knew there was something about her. And then for others, it might be a, oh my God, what the hell have I been watching for all this time? What kind of freak show is this? And then still for others, it's like, oh, okay, well, there it is then. And they really won't care one way or the other. And I'm prepared to deal with all of that. I'm okay with it. But there have been far too many stories, and I personally have experienced and lost far too many of my sisters and brothers to violence and ignorance and addiction and illness, to not give this woman who was so forthcoming and so brave an answer that came from my heart, because it's so clear that she came from her own heart. So, gracias, Carolina. And thank you for sharing that with me. And I hope that you've attained some measure of peace since what happened to your sister happened. Because truly, she is in a place where that kind of hatred can never touch her again. One love.